Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Premier League with FPL Wizard. I hope you're all fine and I hope you're all having a good season. I hope you're all keeping well. I welcome you all to the live stream, my friends. Sorry I started a bit late as compared to the usual 1 hour before the deadline, but I was absolutely busy, guys, and I'm just kind of thankful that I was able to make it back in time. To be honest with you, I haven't had much time to look at my own FPL team. I've been studying the stats and stuff all day long, but that didn't give me enough time to kind of look at my own FPL team. So hopefully no early transfers today. I haven't made any transfers yet, but as always, I have a plan, and hopefully I'm gonna kind of act on that during the stream, guys. So with that, I just like to tell you that the last game week, was absolutely amazing. I brought in Fernandez on the stream, as you already know. I captained him. Amazing, like 105 points into the top 5k. My overall rank is like now 3,900 something. So it was absolutely amazing. These past few weeks for me have been absolutely amazing. But today, since my stream started late, I don't want to spend my time talking about the previous game week. I think we kind of need to focus on the upcoming game week. So not talking too much about the game week 22. Let's focus on game week 23, which is a double game week, guys, for Watford and Burnley. They've got a double game week. No double game week for Aston Villa, Leeds, the ones which we were hoping for, but there is a double game week for Watford. Burnley, I don't want to look at. I don't want to bring any players from Burnley, so I'm not going to be talking too much about Burnley on this stream anyway. Hey Light Trace, hey Smelly Wap, Nahal, Jeremiah, SH, Todd, Barry, thank you so much everybody for being here, and I hope we're able to sort you out today, guys. So I'd like to start off by kind of telling you my transfer plan, and then we'll go from there. I'll answer your questions, which most of which are going to be related about like Dennis, King, Joao Pedro, Ben Foster. So I'm just going to talk to you about my own team. Hopefully that clears things up for you a little bit. So currently, if you see my team, which is on the screen, there's like only like Dennis in here along with Foster. So now if we go to the transfer page, let me just talk you through stuff. So if we go to the transfer page, actually initially when Watford did not have a double game week, I was actually planning to take out Alonso. I was thinking either I should just take out Alonso for Laporte, because Manchester City have really good fixtures, or I was thinking I could possibly just keep Alonso for one more game week and I could just take out an injured Livramento. But mostly I was thinking about taking out Alonso for Laporte. That was the initial plan before any double game weeks or anything was announced, because Chelsea kind of has a lot of blanks coming up. The fixtures are not good, as you can see here. I'm gonna have to take Alonso out anyway, so I thought, why not now? So that was the initial plan, but after Watford announced their double game week, and another player which kind of gave me a parting gift last game week was Ivan Toney. He scored against Manchester United, was very lucky to do so. Got 2 bonus points, and it was absolutely amazing. He had a double game week, so got 10 points. I'm pretty happy with that. So Ivan Toney could be making way finally out of my team after a series of 2-pointers, like 2-0-0-1, 2-1-2 was crazy. I had to keep him because there were injuries, postponements and all that, and I'm thinking to bring in another Watford attacker in Josh King, right? So this is kind of the plan, I'm just not going to make any transfers right now. I'm going to give myself thinking time, because I already told you I didn't get enough time to think about my own team. As I answer your questions, I'm going to give myself more clarity. And if you're just here for my team, or to kind of look at what I'm going to do, I'm going to make my transfer around 15 minutes before the deadline. So, until then, I'm going to try to answer your questions. And at the back of mine, I'm going to try to figure out what I'm going to do with my own team. But for now, this is the plan. And if I bring in Josh King and Dennis, I'd possibly be captaining Josh King. If you don't follow me on Twitter, I did a detailed analysis about which out of the two is better, out of Dennis and King. Looking at all the stats and the positions from which Josh King has been taking his shots, He just statistically edges out Dennis by a lot. He's got an XG of 7, while Dennis has an XG of kind of 3.8. Dennis is 8 goals and King is 5, so he has to make up for that, for all those missed goals, which his XG demands. But anyways, so this is the basic plan, guys. Now I'm gonna go back to the pick my team screen. I'm gonna come back and answer your questions. There you go. Alright guys, hopefully that'll give you some insight. Hey FPL Jagli, Fixture, Shopnan, Ari, Himayu, FPL Sam, Matthew, Geeta, George. Thank you so much everybody for being here. I really appreciate it. And for all of you who didn't hear me the first time around, I'm now into the top 4K, guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel always. Alright, let's get started. So Shopnan says KDB or Sterling for Son. If I had an option between KDB or Sterling, I'd definitely go with the De Bruyne. I think KDB is the best option. Although Sterling might have more explosive potential, but long term I think De Bruyne is the better option, Ari says Hive is best replacement for Ronaldo. To be honest with you, Ronaldo, you can keep him if you want to. Ronaldo, Ralph Ragnick said he has some problem with his neck, but today's training pictures show that Ronaldo trained. So if you want to replace him, you can easily just downgrade him to somebody like King or Dennis. That'll enable you to get Salah in Game Week 24. Roll the transfer or Gray to Rafinha. You can go for Rafinha, honestly, if you want to. Rafinha just doesn't have a double game week. That's the only thing. But he plays Newcastle, which is the next best thing, So it depends if you want to go with Rafinha. This is the game week. I think you need to kind of, if you don't have the Watford players, I think you need to get in the Watford players. This is game week. So just focus on that, in my opinion. Geeta says, hey Wiz, how about Ronaldo to King? You can do it, my friend. I mean, just remember Ronaldo can score anytime, So if you do this move from Ronaldo to King, you should have this at the back of your mind. You should be responsible for your own transfers. But long term, if you want to bring in Salah and Ronaldo is your way to afford Salah, I think that's not a bad move to make. Matthew says, hey Wiz, thoughts on Dean? I really like Luka Dean, Matthew, but I don't think this is the game week to kind of bring him in. You can possibly bring him in for game week 24, because as Ben Krillin on Twitter stated, he doesn't expect Aston Villa to get a double game week either in game week 24 or in 25. So it's unlikely that they're going to get a double game week. And if they don't have a double game week, Dean becomes a little less attractive, in my opinion. Asset says, how about Ronaldo? I already answered that. Geeta says, hey Sam, no Watford assets to who to captain? Technically, I'd say bring in a Watford asset, my friend, for this game week. But if you don't want to bring a kind of a Watford asset, then I'd say Jota, I think, is better. Ronaldo, if you feel he's going to start, I think he's a good option. But the next best option, I think, is Jota. George says, hi, is Ronaldo, Antonio, or Watkins to Dennis King? To be honest with you, my friend, I think it all depends on the team structure you have. For example, guys, Ronaldo, if you have no other way to fund Salah, this might be the game week to kind of take out Ronaldo and bring in somebody like Dennis or King, and then bring in Salah because you have the money that you get from the Ronaldo sale. So that might be one. Second might be Antonio, because he's not looking that good, in my opinion, to be honest with you. And also I have a problem with my team, because I have Antonio in my team, but if I bring in King, so who do I bring in King for? Like, for example, if I bring in King, so do I bring him in for Gray? I mean, Ivan Toney becomes Josh King, right? So if I bring in Josh King, who do I bring him in for in my team? Do I bring him in for Gray, or do I bring him in for Antonio? That's also kind of a bit of a problem, because I don't want to play two West Ham players against Manchester United, but I also don't want to play Demarai Gray because he hasn't been doing anything at all ever since I brought him in. So it's kind of a bit of a dilemma for my own team as well. But let's see what happens here, right? Let me make up my mind. I'll let you know. Tom says Coutinho or Rafinha to transfer in. I'd say Rafinha. In my, again, it's just my opinion. By the way, I read a thread from Utkarsh, which is Zofar, and Zofar said that Coutinho has these 2 international games with Brazil, and he might not be back in time for Game Week 24. Something to that effect. So do kind of be careful. Nehal says, do you think there's any substance in Dennis rumors? Nehal says, Dennis COVID rumors, but everybody in the community is ignoring it. Nehal, I'm not sure where the rumors came from. I have not received any DMs as of now. You know, mostly the people who send me DMs are the ones which I consider reliable. But somebody might have just started the rumors. You know how the FPL community is. Let's wait for like 10-15 minutes. If there's anything substantial to it, I think we'll get news. Hey, FPL Knights. Jeevan, KDB or Bruno for replacing of Son. I think this game week, I think you should go for KDB. Long term, I think you can just simply go for Salah. I think Salah is in the end you have to go for Salah. Johan says, I have Sanchez and Steele as my keepers. What do you think it'd be worth? I think it's, if you don't have any other transfers to make, I think it's not a bad idea to bring in Ben Foster in place of Steele. Yes, Rafinha or Jota? What do you mean? If you want to bring in one of those two, I think it has to be Jota. Ari says best replacement for Alonso. I think Laporte, in my opinion, is one of the better replacements. You can also think about Luka Dean, but in my opinion, Laporte. I was looking at Laporte. Harry says Gray to Foden or DCL Antonio to Dennis. I think they're both the moves make a lot of sense. I think you could do both if you want to. Honestly, I think they're really good moves to make. Rohit says Mahrez can be for. Honestly, I think Mahrez is back for Manchester City, but I think he might get some rest or something of the sort. Strong chance that Manchester United has a double in 25. I think Manchester United would get a double. Ragnick in his press conference, I think he leaked some information inadvertently, so I think they might. Yes. Hey Peter, I hope you're fine, bro. Shopland says, do you have any stats on Southampton defense? Southampton defense, I think is not good. That's all I can say. I don't have any stats, my friend. But I've watched a lot of their games. They're fine, but it's not like they're airtight. They do concede goals. That's all I can say. At home, they're much better. To be honest with you, they're like two Southamptons. One which plays away from home, one which plays at home. At home, they're much, much better than away from home. That's all I can say. Start one, Lamptey, Sofal, Reguilon. Difficult. Lamptey, I think. Lamptey or Reguilon, but I'd say Lamptey. Not interested in Joao Pedro. To be honest with you, I really like the look of Joao Pedro. The only thing is, I just feel that King and Dennis have got more returns because Joao Pedro has played less. So that's kind of skewing my bias towards Dennis or King. But I'd say Joao Pedro is not a bad option. I'm not even sure what happens when Ismail Assar comes back. Ismail Assar is going to be back soon. And when he comes back, I don't know who drops out. Does Dennis drop out? Does King drop out? Does, Joao Pedro drop out? I don't know. Babin says, Gray to Foden or Alonso to Dean or Roll? I'd say Gray to Foden. Alonso to Dean, you can kind of postpone that if you want. If you want to like take out Alonso, then this might be the game week, because Alonso doesn't have a fixture after this. So it all depends on whether you want to attack or defend the fixture. Ronaldo, Madison to Sterling or Foden and Watkins. Foden, to be honest with you, if you can get KDB and Watkins, I think that would be the best. Otherwise, I'd say, it's so hard to choose between Sterling and Foden, because I'd say Foden is less risky because he doesn't cost as much. It depends whether you want to keep them long term or just as a placeholder for Salah. Nehal says Ronaldo to King, Dennis and Trossard to Sterling, KDB. I'd say this looks like a decent move, Nehal. I'd say if you can only bring one, it's hard to choose between King and Dennis, by the way, guys. And if I go wrong, do not blame me for that, because it's absolutely hard to choose between King and Dennis. I've done my stats and everything. Stats-wise, King is better. So please do your own due diligence before making the transfers. But if you bring in King, I'd say captain him, and along with that, I'd bring in KDB. Still have I have Dennis and King, and still have Salah with 2 free transfers and Antonio. What should I do? If you have Alonso, possibly transfer him out and roll the other transfer, I'd say. Mahrez could be back. Murli says, what's your transfer plan? I'll show you my transfers in like, with 15 to like 10-15 minutes to go. I'd make my transfers live. I won't hold you to the last minute, hopefully this time, guys. I did them early last week. Hopefully I can do this because there's too many questions, right now. Damsky says, should I bench Martinelli or Alonso? If I was you, I'd play Martinelli. Ikjot says, take a hit for a defender or just play Sofal. Which defender would you bring in if you take a hit, Ikjot? Rafa says, who's your transfer, bro? Captain on Dennis final. I possibly gonna take out Ivan Toney and bring in Josh King, my friend. And yeah, so the transfers are not made yet. Mogamat says, would you bring in Lennon for the double game week? I would not bring any Burnley players. Maybe Maxwell Cornet, maybe Matt Lowton, but to be honest with you, Burnley looks absolutely dire at the moment, so no. Is it essential to own Dennis if you already have King? I don't think so, no. I think one Watford attacker is good, but sometimes you want to load up on those double game week players just in case, because if Watford have to survive relegation, these are the games they have to win against Burnley and Norwich. They're like 6-pointers, 2 6-pointers, and if you watch Ranieri's pattern, he's been like saving his players. He's been taking off Dennis early. He's been trying to save players for these games. I think he's going to attack these games. I think Watford are going for the win. Barry says King and Dennis for a -4. Yeah. It's difficult, guys. For a -4 is the problem. I mean, if it was for if a free transfer, I'd say yes. You could easily bring just King and captain him. Once you bring in 2 attackers and that also for a hit, and then you kind of booking a transfer, you have to take them out as well. Peter says Shaka essential. Definitely. If you want to play with 10 men, then Shaka is definitely essential. Every week, if you want to play with 10 men, then Shaka is essential. Justice says Bernardo Silva, hold or sell. I'm gonna hold him. I would love it if it was Foden instead of Bernardo in my team, but sometimes you can't have all the players that you want. So I'm gonna stick with Bernardo Silva and hit and hope, my friend. I so wish that it was Foden in place of Bernardo. Best midfield option, I'd say Foden is good. Along with that, Jota is obviously, everybody owns Jota. Rafinha could be a decent one as well. Todd says, who is the... Gideon says Rafinha in grey out. I think, yes, Gideon, you can do it. I like that. Sorry, guys, if I'm missing some of your questions. I think the questions are, coming in too quickly. I'm not being able to answer all of them, but just listen to my answers to other questions. That'll hopefully sort you out. Todd says, who is the best premium partner for Salah? KDB, Sterling, Kane, Ronaldo, medium to long term, 5 to 8 weeks. To be honest with you, Todd, I'd say, let me just look at Spurs fixtures before I say it. I mean, Spurs have got some tough fixtures, otherwise I'd have to say Kane looks in really good form right now. I'd say KDB, City have got some really good fixtures, and KDB is looking in good form as well. I'd say KDB would be the one, to go for. Later on, if KDB doesn't work out, I think we can move him on for Kane, I think that's the best option. Sell Antonio for King. The only reason why you want to sell Antonio is that King has a double game week in 23, and he also might have a double game week in 25, So that is the only reason to sell King. One reason why you would not want to sell Antonio is that he's got like Watford, Leicester, Newcastle, like Watford and Newcastle especially coming up. So these are the 2 fixtures you might want to keep Antonio for. So I gave you the thesis and I gave you the antithesis. Now you make up your mind. Rafinha or Saka? I'd say Rafinha. Saka's got too many blanks coming up. He's blanking in 24 and 26, I think. So I'd say Rafinha. I have both Backman and Foster who will play both games. I think Foster should, because he came back from injury and he was immediately, is brought back in. Dyer to Dean for a hit and play him over Sofal. I don't think so. I don't think you bring in a defender for a hit. I'd say play Sofal. Brian says, hi mate, I have Ronaldo. Should I keep him wait to get Salah in 26? So Salah's going to be back in game week 24, my friend. If Ronaldo doubles in 25, I can get both Salah and Ronaldo. To be honest with you, it's a difficult one. At this moment in time, when there's like 3 weeks, like a break coming up, that 24th Jan to 5th Feb is a break for Premier League clubs, winter break. So it's so hard to plan so long term, my friend. I'd say just plan for this game week and then see what happens next game week. Mihir says, who should I start, Bilbao or Antonio? I'm starting. If I have this doubt, I'd start Bilbao. Hesses out, King in, possibly, yes. Difficult to say because Hesses has a kind of streak against Southampton. He likes to score against Southampton. Should I hold Ronaldo? That's $1 million question, guys. It all depends upon what you want to do. If you want to sell Ronaldo because you want money for Salah, then do sell him. If not, then not. There is no one right answer to this. Aaron says Salah and Son out, KDB and Coutinho. And Coutinho, I think everybody's just getting carried away by Coutinho. One reason I don't want to bring in Coutinho is that he's going to be going away he's going to play 2 international games. He might get injured. Second, Aston Villa is not going to have double game week in 25, not going to have a double game week in 24 either. So I'm not too sold on Coutinho at the moment. Thoughts on keeping Reguilon and Moura in this team in this week against Chelsea? Chelsea are not looking the best, to be honest with you, bro, but it's hard to recommend kind of keeping both of them. Possibly keep one. People setting captaincy between Dennis and King, Captain Joao Pedro on form. That is true. If you want to go with Joao Pedro, that's totally up to you, The thing is, King is on penalties, so if I bring in one player right now, I'm going to have to bring in King because, King is on penalties. If I bring in Joao Pedro and Dennis, to me that doesn't make sense. You can have King and Joao Pedro, but you cannot have Dennis and Joao Pedro. That doesn't make sense to me. Especially if you have 2 Watford attackers and still don't have the penalty taker. That doesn't make sense to me. Todd says, thanks Swiss, KDB was my thought too. I hesitated because I like the balance better of the premium striker. Todd, to be honest with you, this season the strikers are absolutely dire. You won't find many good strikers. That is the reason why I don't mind doubling up on a Watford strike force, because the strikers this season are absolutely horrendous. Sometimes you don't actually, you look through the list of strikers, you don't know which one to get because they're all so, not good. No, don't want to use a bad word, but yeah. Isn't Pedro the first penalty taker? I think Josh King is going to be the one. It's hard to say, Anis, by the way, guys. If anybody knows about if Joao Pedro is on the pitch and if Josh King is there, who's going to take the penalties? In my opinion, Josh King is the one, but if Joao Pedro is the first penalty taker, I don't have knowledge about that. I'll hold my hands up and I say this on the live stream, guys. Is Dennis worth a -4 by losing Ronaldo? Don't think so. If you have King, then I don't think so. Cap, Bruno, Cancelo, Jota, Arnold. I'd say Bruno or Jota. Good evening from India, says Shivam. Good evening, my friend. I hope you're fine. Can you help me? Who 3 to bench? I have Aitnori, Cancelo, Trent. It's difficult, guys. Please ask me pointed questions. It's like 20 minutes to go. It's hard, Shivam. Sorry. Any news on the Villa double? Ben Krillin says Villa won't double in 24 and 25. So Villa are not going to get doubles. That's all I can tell you right now. Anyways, guys, need to focus on my own team. Sorry if I'm not answering your questions. Give me a second, guys. I have to kind of look at my own team and need to make my transfers, because some people come here and just want to see my team, and I don't want to take them too close to the deadline. Sometimes the servers crash as well, so yeah. I'm just looking at Twitter for any early team news or anything, because Watford game is today, and somebody might give us some early team news. Because, for example, Nehal said that there are rumors that Dennis has COVID, but on my Twitter I don't see anything on my timeline which says that they've got COVID. So yeah, I'm kind of just going through some tweets here, guys, and then I have to set my own team up. The decision is Antonio and Gray. Which one would you start between Antonio and Gray, guys? I need your help on this one as well. So if you have the same team as me, which one would you play? Would you play Antonio? Would you play Gray? Because I already own Bowen. Foden or Sterling? Matthew, it all depends upon... Todd says, who should I sell for Dennis? DCL or Antonio? To be honest with you, Todd, let me see Everton's fixtures before I actually comment on that. Newcastle, Leeds, Southampton. I mean, they've got good fixtures on paper, but so do West Ham United. Everton have got some fixtures to reschedule. It's a difficult one to call, my friend, but I'd say based on form, I'd say it has to be DCL, to sell and keep Antonio. But if you have Jared Bowen, you could also kind of, divide the risk a little bit. Sid says, hey bro, what moves are you making? Lucas Moura to Coutinho. That's a difficult one to say. Dennis 100% starting. All right, Gideon, thank you so much. That's awesome. Pedro says, only just got here. My wife is newly pregnant and craving my specialty, dal tadka. I feel a knee-jerk transfer coming up. Pedro, first of all, congratulations. You're about to enter a beautiful phase of your life, and I hope you and your wife, are absolutely ready for it. And God bless the little one that's about to arrive soon. Make a dal tadka, man. Antonio gets my vote, says Smelly Wab. Play Antonio over Gray, says Todd. Right, so almost everybody says Antonio. Abhijit says Antonio as well. Good replacement for Son. I'd say wait one game week and then bring in Salah. That would be the best. So we've got like 20 minutes to go. Need to kind of lock my team. I actually had another kind of thought in the back of my mind. I could even roll my transfer. When you've got so many problems in your team, like you don't know who to bench, so you can actually kind of just roll your transfer as well. The problem is don't feel confident. Captaining Dennis. I want to captain King. Might be the wrong decision in the end. Just sometimes it's better to kind of captain the player which you own. Smelly Web says FPL Sam, I'm doing the same. I'm gonna captain King. If I get Josh King and Dennis, I'm telling you very clear, I'm captaining Josh King. If I don't get King, then obviously captaining Dennis. Cash or Mount to start? I think Mount, always Mount. Pedro says many thanks for his 2 transfers in the bank. Who to get rid of? Ronaldo, Antonio, Bernardo, Allen. It's difficult, my friend. I think Ronaldo. If you want Salah and you need money, I think Ronaldo has to be the one. And if you don't want Antonio, I think you're happy with Jared Bowen in your team, then you kind of go with Jared Bowen. Yeah, I'm just, by the way, when I'm answering questions, I'm kind of looking at Twitter for any news. This guy says, won't get any news pre-deadline. Good luck, everyone. Come on, my friend. That is not what we want to hear, bro. Come on, give us some news. Anybody, somebody. Looking through Twitter, but I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get any news. Brosha and Gray to King and Rafinha. It's hard for me to recommend to tell you to sell King, to sell Brosha, but technically I think for this game week you can. But I think Brosha is a really good option. There's not many good striking options, and Brosha is like a great option. So yeah. One more issue that I have is if I kind of bring in Josh King in place of Tony. Let me show you here. Let's talk about the teams. Let's not talk. So if I bring in Josh King, right, in place of Tony. So if I bring in Josh King, so I could actually keep Bruno Fernandes, and I could actually bring Salah in place of Bernardo. The problem is I have a deficit of like minus 2 million, and then I'll have to kind of sell one of these players. Might sell Demarai Gray, might have to sell Alonso because Alonso doesn't have a fixture, but then I can't sell him for Laporte. That's like at the back of my mind. I'm thinking about that. So might have to bench Alonso one game week. Might have to kind of make do with something else, or that is also at the back of my mind, because if I want to get Salah in place of Fernandes, then like I've got no worries in the world. I can bring in Laporte for Alonso. I can bring in Salah in place of Fernandes. But if United get a double game week in 25, then I'm gonna be stuck, because then I want to have to, and then I want to bring in Salah for Bernardo Silva, and yeah, I'm gonna be stuck a little bit. Let's see what happens here. So. That I don't want to plan for too long, guys, because this season has taught us that we need to focus on here and now, whatever is in front of us, and not think like too long. Sorry guys, just Surfer says hi Viz, congrats on captaining Bruno. I went with Ronaldo. Thank you so much. I was lucky. If I had Ronaldo, I would have captained him too. Babin says Antonio Gray, Alonso Cucurella. I'd bench Alonso and the other one I'm not sure. Maybe Cucurella or maybe Antonio. Actually, they're all kind of similar options. I'd definitely bench Alonso and then, depends on what you want to do. I don't have a good defender, otherwise I'd bench Alonso as well. I have Ronaldo. It's better to replace him with King this week, so that I think that is the plan. Yeah, if you can replace him with Salah next week, then I think it's okay to sell Ronaldo. Don't, guys. Again, it's your own decision. I'm not recommending anybody to sell Ronaldo. And later on, if he banks, then I'm not gonna be kind of responsible. You have to make your own decisions. But if I had this option, I might have done it. Also, Ragnik says his neck is hurt, although he's been training. But it's just hard to trust this guy. Ragnik, especially when he said, I don't know. The only players I would sell for, King Dennis are like Antonio or Ronaldo. You have to think about your own long-term team, guys. All right, so now I'm gonna focus on my own team, guys. I'm not answering any questions until I make these transfers. I don't want to delay it like the last second, and either I roll my transfer or Either I'm going to roll my transfer, I'm going to bring in King in place of Tony. That's the only decision that I have. And then I have to obviously decide whether I want to play Demarai Gray or Mikel Antonio, which I obviously think I'm going to be playing Mikel Antonio. So the decision as to whether to make a transfer or roll a transfer. That's what it's come to in the end. Yesa says I've made up my mind with captaining King and rolling my transfer. Can't wait anymore. Oops. Yes, it's only 10 minutes, bro. I'm not telling you to wait for a long time. It's just 10 minutes to the deadline. So if you can wait, that is fine. If not, that's absolutely fine as well. And good luck for your boards. Yeah, putting in Fernandes and Cody. Hope it works. I'm not sure if bringing in Fernandes this game week is the right play. Even the last game week, everybody who owned him was a bit lucky, I'd say. Never expected him to get like the crazy amount of points he got, 22, 23. Never expected him to do that. So I don't think we're gonna get any early team news, by the way, guys. So that is clear. I think two of my most reliable ITKs, which I kind of trust, have said that they're not getting any. Yeah. So by the way, guys, if you're like thinking of selling Ronaldo, you should think about this as well. Ronaldo might have a double game week in 25, so you might want to sell Antonio because he's not getting any double game weeks anytime soon. So that is also one thing which you might like to consider about which player to sell if you want to get in King. If I had an option to bring in one out of King and Dennis, I would bring in Josh King because I think he is the better captaincy option in my opinion because of the penalties, That's the only thing. Stats wise, XG wise, everything wise, he's better. Dennis has just got more goals. That's the only thing. Jethro says, hey Viz, I'll show you my transfer right now, Jethro. Don't worry about it. I'll make my transfers right now. So just give me what? Just give me 2 minutes and I'll make my transfers. Nihal says buffer. I'm sorry, Nihal. I didn't get that. Can you tell me? I sold Son for KDB. That's not a bad option. Ronaldo out this week again. I gave a lot of answered the same question so many times, guys. If you can take out like Antonio for King or Dennis, whichever one you got to, you can keep Ronaldo because he might have a double game week in 25, as Ragnik revealed in his press conference. Stream was buffering. He said, "All right." There might be a problem with the internet. We've got like crazy thunderstorms going around, so don't worry. Yeah, that means I need to make my transfers quickly. So yeah, I'm getting some DMs, but nothing substantial. No team news, nothing. Yes, so guys, the only thing, if you can look at my team, the only thing which I actually want to do is like bring in King in place of Ronaldo. Tony. I think I'm gonna bring in King in place of Tony. Major FOMO not owning this guy, Odin, but is not a priority right now. Time to lock your team, says Melivab. Gray and Trossard to Saka and Madison. Nope. Never. Saka and Madison. Why you want to bring in Saka? It's got blank game weeks. I think Gray and Trossard are fine. If anything, just bring in a City player like Bernardo Silva or something like that. Nihal says I have a major FOMO not owning Dennis. It's always gonna happen, Nihal. Since everybody's owning these players, you're always gonna have a FOMO. Don't worry about it, bro. Just kind of stick with your guns. Since I have a transfer, I wanna I could bring in Laporte as well. I could have easily done it. I just wanna attack the double game week, especially at my rank. Sometimes you wanna push up, and since there are not many good options, like striker options, that's the reason you sometimes kind of go for these players. You try and push up the ranks. Sometimes I want to do this. How much time is left? 9 minutes to go. Foster in for backman. I think you can do it. This is the week to do it if you want to do it. Have 2 free transfer ups. Shouldn't be answering the question right now. Should be focusing on my own team. Have made transfers. Final dilemma. Bench CR7 Bernardo. Bench Bernardo. Play Ronaldo. Always play Ronaldo. What's your current rank, says Humayu? It's like 3.9k, I'd say. 4k to be more general. Honestly, I think I should be making transfers. No point in kind of waiting for. I don't think any news or anything is forthcoming. To be honest with you. Play Emerson Royale or Dawson. That's no good answer for that. I'll make my transfer, don't worry. Yeah. No, I won't leave it to the last minute, don't worry. I don't own Dennis, I have King. Shall I remove Watkins to get Dennis? I wouldn't. If I had Watkins, I would not remove him to get Dennis. Just Captain King and be happy with that, bro. Honestly, I don't think... Alright then, guys. Time to make the transfers. Alright, I won't keep anybody waiting then. I'd say... just one last time having a look at Twitter, and yeah, this is just kind of looking at Twitter too. Yeah, no, nothing. Alrighty, guys, it's time to make the transfers. Let's go for it. Can you see my screen? There you go. Lacazette to start. I think he should. Why wouldn't he start? Alright, anyways, no time to kind of answer questions right now. Focus on my own team. So the transfer is out Tony in Josh King. Josh King, I hope. One time I brought him in for Bournemouth, because I didn't have enough money for Callum Wilson, and he scored a hat-trick. I hope God is kind. I hope something of this sort happens today. Oops. Done, guys. The transfer is done. Now just to pick the team. So everybody's saying, and I should kind of, and I should bench Damari Gray. The captain has to be King, as I already told you. Vice captain, I'm not gonna put on the same team, which kind of actually doesn't make any sense because King is gonna play tonight. So now the question is only Antonio and Damari Gray, guys. That's the only question that remains in my team. Again, Todd says Wiz made the transfer, the Hobbits go wild. Thank you so much. By the way, guys, do like the stream. Amid all the craziness, I forget to tell you this. Please do like the stream. And if you are a moderator of this channel, or if you are a member of this channel, please do send me a message on Twitter. I will add you to our private group. So that's all. I just forget to say all this during the streams because the madness is crazy. I'm Sully says thanks, Wiz. Good luck, man. So the last decision, which is kind of Antonio or Damari Gray is the one. Not so sure what because whether it is even a decision, But I don't know. Just thinking, guys. I'm sorry if I'm not speaking. I'm just thinking. Madison to Rafinha. I don't think... yeah, if you can do it, yeah. Why not? I think if you have a free transfer, why not? Sharon, yes. Achitan says starting Brownhill. Thoughts will he start? Not sure about Brownhill, bro. I'm not... you know. But I think you should put him on your team just because of the fact that he has a double game week and he's logged on for 4 points. I think, but at least I did it. Good luck, my friend. Everton stink like a dragon poo. Play Antonio. Well, so does. I mean, Antonio's been looking absolutely laggard, but it's not something that'll make or break my game week. That is the reason I'm not so concerned about that. But I'm still kind of, at the back of my mind, just thinking Demarai Gray or Mikhail Antonio. Because Jared Bowen and this guy, both in the team doesn't make much sense. Especially they're playing away to Old Trafford. Just at least Demarai Gray is going to be playing on his home ground. Hold Lucas Moura, sell him. You can hold him at he's not that expensive. Antonio or King, I think. It depends on if you have him. Obviously, play King. Fernandes or Bowen. What do you mean, Fernandes? If you have both. Fernandes, obviously, always Fernandes. If Ronaldo's not on the pitch, he might even take a penalty. I don't know. This Demarai Gray or Antonio is such a tough decision. Absolutely tough. Why I'm captaining King? I've done my analysis. I feel King stays much closer to the box, takes his shots from better places. Just isn't as clinical, but is also on penalties. I think, if you have to take a chance, you have to take it on somebody who takes penalties. No, that's all. What's your pick? Antonio on the bench for Smith Rowe? I'd pick Antonio. Smith Rowe is not nailed on. I don't know why. Antonio form 4.6, Demarai Gray 2.0. That's true, Todd. I think that this is my lock team, guys. Not going to change my team. For everybody who's here, I'm going to refresh my team for you. By the way, the servers have not crashed, so that is one good news. So yeah, Demarai Gray is on the bench, guys. I've saved my team. Captain Josh King. Not even sure if do I need to reconsider my vice captain or not. But I could put it on Dennis because the game's definitely gonna go ahead, and if King plays, it doesn't make a difference. But I think that's just taking it too far. And thank you so much, Todd, for helping me with the decision, bro. I really appreciate it. KDB or one of the Watford strikers as captain. If I had KDB, I'd be happy. I'd still captain the Watford players, but having KDB in itself is I think is a good thing. Nail says team lock. Guys, lock your teams. You've seen my team. I've told you everything I needed to tell you. Now just lock your teams. And before you go, please like the stream. And of course, please do subscribe if you haven't. 2 minutes to go. Lock your teams, guys. No time to no time to waste. Sometimes these servers go haywire. Sometimes they go crazy. Still no kind of information on Twitter, so I'm happy I made the transfers or the transfer, I'd like to say. Sorry, I need to answer some questions. Aaron says, thanks, Wiz. Have a great game week and a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much, Aaron, for your kind wishes. I hope you have a great game week and a wonderful weekend as well. Thank you so much. We're gonna have a long break anyways. It's gonna be I think 2 weeks before we stream again. Can't trust Pep, but bought Foden and hoping for a green arrow, says Abhijit. I think that's a good idea, bro. I don't blame you. If I had the option to bring in Foden, if there wasn't a double game week for Watford, I would definitely bring in Foden. I have a major fear of missing out from Foden. Third game week in a row taking a hit. Nail, I took crazy amount of hits. I took absolutely crazy amount of hits when all these games were getting postponed. I never take that many hits, but sometimes, the circumstances, they demand us to play a different style. Thank you so much for subscribing, Black Warrior. Thank you. So yeah, sometimes the circumstances and the season, especially with the COVID uncertainties, they demand us to play a certain way. Guys, lock your teams, please. Nail says, me too, adapting my play style to the postponements. Absolutely. So, if you watch my playing style, I'm like one of the most safe managers. Sometimes I take risks but my risks are also safe. I don't know if that makes sense to you, by the way. But I take safe risks. Like if I want to take a punt, like for example, this king and Dennis double is kind of a safe risk. So that is the thing. I wouldn't go crazy like people taking just absolutely crazy punts out of nowhere. I'm not that kind of a manager. For example, I would never transfer Sterling in for this game week, even though he scores 15 points and does whatever. But I'm not the kind of manager who will bring in Sterling for one game week. There you go. Nihal says Wiz will choose KDB over Sterling. Absolutely. Nihal understands the way I play, so it's all good. Gideon says Dennis captain. Whoa, brilliant. I mean, that's good. Lucas says king captain. Nice. Gideon is captain Dennis. That's nice. Yeah. Smellyup says time for Zen and inner peace. I definitely need that, by the way, guys. I did not have much time to think about my team. What I was doing, let me tell you what I was doing though. I was sitting here researching on Dennis and King when like some domestic kind of, there was some work I had to go, and I just came back 1 hour before the deadline. I came back home 1 hour before the deadline, and then I had to set up the stream, make the thumbnail for the stream, answer people on Twitter. And by the time I came onto the stream, I did not have much time to I did a lot of research on the game week, but I did not do my due diligence on my own team. For example, this Demarai Gray and Antonio, this indecisions come from the fact that I was just too deep into thinking about the future game weeks, this game week, Dennis, King, Foster, all these things. So I had to make my decision on the stream today, and I think we still made it in time. Asset says goodbye everyone. Lighter says king captain. Nihal says Zen. King FC in the house. I think many of us have Captain King. So anybody who went Dennis is a bit maverick, I'd say. Asset says goodbye everyone. Goodbye bro. So Choplin says a lot of people Captain King on Twitter. Damn. Well, I think King is the right option. Even if they don't captain him on Twitter. I told you, I always want to go with the player who's on penalties. Sometimes when I captain. FPL Doug says, I saw the heat maps on your Twitter, Viz. Cheers, Doug. Guys, if you don't follow me on Twitter, by the way, I do post a lot of things, and I'm really into this thing which I'm doing right now on Twitter. I'm posting I've started a thread 7 days ago. I've started a thread because people are getting hacked. Everybody who makes their way into top 10k, they're getting hacked, and the hacker has a script who makes 1,000 transfers in the space of 1-2 minutes. So I've started a movement in which I tag FPL, official FPL account every day. I post a meme and I ask them to activate two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication means, for example, if you want to log in FPL, you have to give your password, and then you also have to, give an OTP, a one-time password, which comes on your email or it comes on your mobile. So I've started this movement, and I request all of you to do follow me on Twitter, and I request all of you to share and retweet as much as possible. Tag the bigger accounts, spread the movement. FPL, to address the hacking issues, what they've done is that they've limited the maximum number of transfers per game week to 20. But I do not understand how this helps anybody. For example, if somebody hacks your account and make 20 transfers, that essentially means a minus 76. That destroys your entire season. How is that a solution to hacking? I do not understand. So I've started this movement. It's been 7 days tweeting every day for the official FPL account to introduce two-factor authentication. And if you follow me on Twitter, guys, just help support me. Just retweet, tag the bigger accounts, tag official FPL. Try to just get them to listen to us, guys. I've got so many people in touch with me whose accounts have been hacked. Some of them were in top 5k, some of them top 10k. I mean, you are all FPL managers. You know how how hard we work to get into these top positions, and to get hacked and your team destroyed by making 1000 transfers is absolutely disheartening, guys. And the sense of entitlement of these FPL guys, we can't even make them listen to us and reply to us, let alone get them to activate the two-factor authentication. But the end of the stream wasn't meant for this rant, by the way, guys. But I just had to tell you, if you don't follow me on Twitter, please do. The Gideon says, how can I be a part of the group? Gideon, I'll send you a message on Twitter, don't worry about it. Nehal says, you're already a part of this lovely group. No toxicity, no drama, pure vibes. And Smelly Wab says, the only drama comes from Viz's last minute transfers. Well, sometimes you need to spice up your life, and what better than to make last minute transfers. Not good for the heart, though, I can tell you that much. Shopman says, gotta go, good luck. Take care, Shopman. Hope you have a great game week. Lightrace says, thanks, Wiz. May the arrows be green. May the arrows be green, Lightrace. Take care. So, guys, this is about my team. And, I'd say let's skip the predictions today. I've had a really, really long day, guys, and I just barely made it in time for the stream. So Neil says, team review thoughts: Foster, Trent, Cancelo, Emerson Royale, Jota, KDB, Gallagher, Bowen, Bruno, Antonio, and King. I see some really different players, which I think you've been really heartbroken. Emerson Royale got taken off at halftime against Leicester. Foster is good. Trent, Cancelo, everybody definitely owns them. Emerson Royale, I think, is a difficult game. Jota, KDB is amazing. Gallagher, I don't even know who he plays against. That is the amount of, ignorance about Crystal Palace that I have. He plays against Liverpool, so obviously that's a bit tough. But Gallagher can score against anyone. Even when they beat Brighton, or they scored against Brighton, Crystal Palace, that was an amazing move, but that's the only attack that they made all game week. Yeah, I like that team, Nihal. It's a bit differential, but it's really good as well. I like that. I really like the KDB pick. Abhijit says, are we doing predictions? I think we're gonna try and skip the predictions this game week, Abhijit. I can stay here, talk to you guys, not a problem, but just I've been studying all day, the Watford players and all that stuff, so just wanna kind of focus away from FPL at the moment. Todd says, by the way, congrats on the 105 points. The crystal ball is growing hot. Thank you so much, Todd. I really, really got lucky, by the way. I had a major fear of missing out with not owning Ronaldo. Made the transfer, got Bruno. Anybody on Twitter, guys, who kind of tagged me after I wrote that I made my way up from 21k to 4k, everybody who said, I made a stupid move captaining Ronaldo, or, I made a mistake of captaining Ronaldo, I replied to each and every one of them. I said, you did not make a mistake. Ronaldo was the best option. If I owned both Bruno and Ronaldo, I would have captained Ronaldo as well. So I am lucky. People, for example, on Twitter saying, after captaining Bruno, people kind of acting smug and saying, yeah, you see, I made the decision based on facts or stats. I think it's absolutely not true. I think maybe they couldn't afford Ronaldo without a hit. Maybe, they just found it easier to go for Bruno. I will find very few players who actually captained Bruno over Ronaldo. I really, it would be hard to find. Somebody like Fabio Borges, can do it, but a general FPL manager, I think, just gets suckered into always thinking about just like me, just like I did. Nehal says, Sensi Professor Wiz. Thank you so much, bro. Nehal says, there were no stats on Bruno, to be honest, just a change of system. That 4-2-2-2 system was absolutely horrendous, to be honest with you. The 4-2-3-1 system suits Bruno, absolutely to the T. And I think if Bruno can kind of bring back his old form, I wouldn't be against owning him and Salah both. That is why I was thinking to kind of get Salah in place of Bernardo and not in place of Bruno that I originally planned. But I just want to see how he plays against West Ham United before I can make this decision, because next game we're going to be hit with this decision to either get Salah in place of Bruno or to get him in place of Bernardo. So let's see what happens. Neil says Gallagher plays Liverpool. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let me see on Twitter. Do we have any team leagues or anything of the sort? Guys, by the way, my Twitter handle is @WizFPL. So if you haven't followed me, do follow me there. Did FPL Rockstar or anybody do predictions? Or sorry, any leaks? Arthur Melo could join Arsenal from Juventus. I don't know what to say about that. I just can't bring myself to double up with King and Dennis gonna rock with just King. So people are now, this is absolutely gonna be crazy, because people have now, you see here, like late riser has gone for Dennis and Joao Pedro, and he's captain Dennis. So this is something which I could not do, like if you want to see like a different manager, to me, like it's late riser. He always plays for the upside. Like he's for example, he's got Calvert Lewin on the bench, and he's still gone and brought in Joao Pedro for a hit. And he's also sold Ronaldo and Gray for Foden and Pedro. Late riser is absolutely a different manager to what I am. Out of these three, if you watch the FPL Wire, by the way, out of these three managers, I think my game style is much more it's like it resembles with Utkarsh Zofar, I think. Not exactly. I think Zofar is even a more safe manager than I am, but I think it resembles the most with Zofar. Gideon says, Viz, do you play FIFA? Actually, Gideon, I used to before I had a little one. Like after my baby, I just don't get time to play Xbox. I used to play a lot of Xbox, by the way. I had lots of games. My favorite game was Dark Souls, and I played a lot of games. Red Dead Redemption, Dark Souls, FIFA. I used to buy until FIFA 2020. I played all the FIFAs. I used to play Pro Clubs. I used to play Ultimate Team, and I was decent. Nail says you're a Zofar for sure. Sometimes I feel Zofar is even more like a more safe manager than I am, but he does plan the same way I do for the long term, and kind of goes for the safe captains. Sometimes I find me making the same moves as Zofar, so that's exactly why I thought like out of those three, Big Man Bucker I will never understand. Like sometimes he acts like a totally maverick manager, and sometimes he plays it safe. It's hard to understand his playing style, Big Man Bucker. So I don't know what to say more about that. By the way, guys, if you have to watch one podcast, I'd recommend all of you to kind of listen to the FPL Wire. I think that's the best podcast there is. I think there's many other good ones, like Who Got the Assist, FPL FML, and I can't name all of them, but I don't listen to many podcasts. I think they, when you listen to too much FPL content, I think it skews your decision making, and sometimes you just say the same things which you hear on the podcast. I don't even watch the FPL Wire every week, but if I don't get time for my research and I want to kind of catch up on stuff, FPL Wire is where I go. Always, I listen to the FPL Wire. If I can get the time, then I won't listen to any podcasts because I want to do my own due diligence. That's always the case. Mark Sequito says, hi Viz, could you check your Twitter DM? That just saves me typing the team in chat here. Yeah, definitely, Mark. Don't worry. In deadline streams, you can always type your team here, and I'll check it here as well. But I'll answer your DM as well, so don't worry about that. No issues. Neil says they give information and don't force any transfers. That is true, Neil. That is absolutely true. By the way, I don't know what I'm waiting for here. Like we're not doing any predictions, and I'm still here. I don't know what I'm waiting for. Maybe I'm just waiting for some early team news, but while we're here, let's just have a look at the fixtures. Not doing predictions today. Just not in. It's just absolutely tired today. So just let's have a look at the fixtures just for a bit. A little bit concerned, which I, like it skipped my mind as well during this stream, was that why I thought I would want to roll the transfer is because Burnley plays against Arsenal, and Burnley's got 16 fit players. So I was a little bit like concerned. For example, Burnley gets one injury and a red card, and God knows. And then what happens if this fixture just doesn't go ahead? And that was a little bit concerned before the stream. When I was doing my research, I had this at the back of my mind because Burnley's got 16 fit players. 16. So yeah. But that absolutely just didn't occur to me at this time, especially because I think nobody else is concerned about that. I didn't see any post about that on Twitter. I didn't see anything about that on on other forums. So I just kind of went with just went ahead with the transfer. Atul says, have a great weekend all. Thank you so much, Atul. Have a great weekend as well, bro. So yeah, so guys, the first game, I don't know what happened last game week. How did Norwich beat Everton? Is it that Everton are really poor? Is it that Norwich were really good? I don't know. But this guy, Adam Ida, I hope that's his name. Yeah, Adam Ida. It looks like a good striker. Even in that game when they took him off in game week 21. The Norwich fans actually booed the manager because he was taking off Adam Ida. So, the Norwich fans absolutely love him. And I think he can score some goals, this guy. But Everton lost to them, And Richarlison came on, scored a goal. Damari Gray didn't do anything. Calvert-Lewin obviously didn't do anything as well. Did he miss a penalty? And was that in this game? Which game did he miss the penalty? I think in this game. So yeah, anyways, so Norwich, I'm not so sure if Norwich were really good or Everton were really bad because I just watched the highlights of the game. But I think Watford, if they want to survive this season, I think they have to win this game. They absolutely have to win this game. Dean under Gerrard is going to perform big time, says Gideon. I think so as well. But I just want to give him time. Sometimes, if they had a double game week, I would possibly bring him in. But for single game weeks, I don't think Dean is the priority. He can get a 10-12 pointer, that's fine. He's not very heavily owned at the moment, so not too concerned about that. But yeah, against Everton, that is like Nihal says, like Dean Tarby coming up. Absolutely. The thing is, Rafael Benitez is gone. That was the manager he had problems with, but he's gone now. Duncan Ferguson, I think he doesn't have any problems with. So I'm not sure how fired up Dean is gonna be and what he's gonna do there. But anyways, so I expect Watford to win this game. If Watford don't win this game, I expect them to get relegated. But I think they're going to come out all guns blazing. Even if they don't win the game, I expect Watford to score in this game. Newcastle are not, Norwich are not that good defensively, especially at home. Watford should, do well against them. Away at Burnley, I think it's just a bonus game. Burnley don't have a striker. They sold Chris Wood. Ashley Barnes is injured. So I think Matej Vitra or Jay Rodriguez might play this game. But let's come to that. So I think Watford should win this game 2-0. And that's what I think should happen. But it's a crazy kind of fixture. So any scoreline is not beyond this. It could be 3-1. Let's see what happens. Everton versus Aston Villa. I think under Duncan Ferguson, we're going to see a different Everton, by the way, guys. He's just so passionate about Everton. The last time when he was managing, he made them win against Chelsea. He's the player who brought on Moise Kean and then took him off after 10 minutes as well. So he's a really, really aggressive manager. He's got a style of managing which cannot survive in the long term, but short term, I think he can give a boost to Everton. But Aston Villa is good on the Gerrard. I'd say it should be a scoring draw. I think. Giovanni says Watford. Hey Giovanni, this is the first message I'm seeing from you, so welcome, bro. There's Watford 2-1, although I wish they get a clean having Foster on my team. Yeah, I wish they get a clean sheet as well. But even if Foster gets like a combined total of 6-7 points, I'd be happy, and not expecting too much in this game anyway. DCL to shine under Duncan, I think so. DCL is a is an Everton player through and through, and under Duncan Ferguson, he can definitely shine. Todd says Pookie will score. I don't own him. Todd. I'm not so sure about Pookie, but if anybody has to score, I hope he does. Just for all the gifs on Twitter, annoying colored gifs, Pookie party stuff. So yeah, so Everton Villa, I expect this to be a scoring draw. I'd say 2-2. Could be 1-1 as well. It's hard to predict Everton. Very hard. Not seen too many games from them, but I've watched highlights. It's hard to predict Everton. Let's give them a 1-1 draw for now. Brentford versus Wolves. It's again, I think Wolves are the kind of team which, kind of gonna stop Brentford from scoring. Gonna try to hit them on the counter. They're very watertight, Wolves. They don't concede too many goals. So looking at one of their defenders, maybe I was thinking about Nori in place of Livramento, but I just read the news today that the Johnny Otto is back, their left back who got an ACL injury. So if Johnny's back, then Nori is the one who's gonna make way. So maybe it's best to go for Jose Sa, but we'll talk about that later. So I expect Wolves to win this game 2-1. Or 2-0. It's hard to kind of, again, Brentford, sometimes they turn up, they play well. For example, they should have scored like 3 goals in the first half against United. Did not do it, and then, they just got absolutely ripped apart by on the counter attacks. And Ivan Toney's goal was a lucky one, and that is the reason I sold him. He wasn't looking convincing, So I expect Brentford to lose this game. Nail says DCL is Duncan's boy. Last time when Duncan came in, DCL went on a run. That's a great point. GW23 says 0-1 for Wolves. I agree with that. Everton 0-2 Villa. No new manager bounce yet. Nice. Yeah, I think Duncan at home with the home crowd, I think he can give them a bounce, but let's wait and watch. Todd says Brentford 0-1 Wolves. I agree with that. Wolves don't concede too much, but sometimes you never know what happens. But I really rate this Bruno Lage Wolves defense. I think they're really good under him. Leeds versus Newcastle. I think Leeds against West Ham were absolutely amazing. Harrison scoring a hat-trick. He has these streaks. Sometimes he goes on a run, scores for a couple of games, and then he just disappears into oblivion. But yeah, I expect Leeds to win this game. I'd say 2-1. Saint Maxima to score the goal for Newcastle, but then Leeds, at home, I think they can beat Newcastle. I don't expect them to score 4 goals every week, but I'd say 2 or 3. Eddie Howe was not gonna want to concede too many goals. 2-1 for Leeds, says Giovanni. Yeah, that's exactly the same prediction as me. So this is the one. Manchester United West Ham. I think this is gonna be a cagey game. West Ham have been good. They haven't been absolutely good, scintillating good, but even against Leeds they could have snatched a late equalizer. Jared Bowen, I don't know why he did not head that ball. It was absolutely the right place to head the ball. For some reason he tried to go with his chest, and he kind of bundled it over the bar, and and it would have been an Antonio assist as well. I don't know what he was doing there, Jared Bowen, but it was absolutely broken after the game. I know I could see it. He wanted to score, he wanted to kind of draw the game, but in this game I'd say 3-1 to United. Let's say, because they're playing at home, gonna be possibly motivated. Not sure. It's hard to predict United these days, to be honest with you, but I'd say Old Trafford, it could be 3-2. West Ham could score 2, but I'd expect United to win this game. So let me read some comments. Gideon says, it says 2. Gideon says, where's your prediction? 3-1 to West Ham United. Jovan says 2-3 for West Ham. That is interesting, Jovan. Abhijit says 3-2 to United. Todd says 2-2. Nice. Neil says team news coming in. Yeah, I'm gonna go over and have a look as well. What the heck? This guy is showing his eyes. Wow. Guys, if Dennis has something, this is absolutely insane. I'm telling you this right now. Because this guy is showing us his eyes. It never bodes well. Maybe Backman starting in place of Foster. Who knows? Who knows what's happening? Don't show us your eyes. Where's Rockstar? Where is Rockstar? No, nobody's no team news, Nehal. But it seems like I'm told King and Dennis both start. Dennis Foster isn't in goal. Yeah, I told you it could be Foster, guys. He says King and Dennis both start, but Foster is not in goal. Nehal says it's scaring me. Giovanni says I think West Ham will get them on the counter. Yeah, I think they can. Especially if Harry Maguire plays. Did you see when he came on against Brentford? His passing was absolutely all over the place, this guy. So this guy, ITK on Twitter, he says King and Dennis both start. King and Dennis both start, but Foster is not in goal. So I don't know. I don't know if this is true or not. But it doesn't make much of a difference to me because I have De Gea in goal anyway, you know, and against West Ham I expected him to concede. So this is not a major thing. It would be much worse if Dennis was kind of this guy's saying never liked cycling or goalkeeping anyway. People are disappointed that Foster isn't starting. Hopefully we'll have the team news soon, guys. Abhijit says no way. Why Foster is not on goal? I don't know, bro. I don't know. Maybe you know, when he started him last game week, he didn't see enough from Ben Foster to kind of put him back in. But we had to take a chance. It was a double game week. Who knows? Who knows? You know, it might be wrong. It might be right. God knows what's happening. Yeah. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah. So everybody's now retweeting the same stuff. Anyways, let me come back and read your comments. I have Ramsdale on the bench, says Nehal. Well, that's a good option to have. I don't think if he's been dropped for the first game, I don't see any reason why he should start the second one also, Nehal. Then if like Foster doesn't start, I expect him to miss both the games, which is good, you know, because then I get De Gea from the bench and you get Ramsdale, you know. So, but the problem will be for those people who actually brought in Foster. That will be a big issue, you know, for all of them. It'll hurt. Even on our stream, I remember one person asking me, should I bring in Foster in place of Steele? I said, yes, you can. And it doesn't feel good now. If you're still here, bro, I feel for you. I'm sorry. I just said what I felt to the best of my intentions, but never expected this. So apologies if anybody's kind of gone through this predicament. But anyways, so I'll just give you the team news in 2 minutes. Let's just quickly get through the predictions. Southampton, Manchester City. I expect City to win this game 2-0. I don't expect City to totally hammer them unless it's a game like Leicester City played at Southampton where they scored 9 goals. You know, Southampton once in a season they turn up and they concede like crazy amount of goals. I hope this is not that game. But Southampton have been defending all right. You know, they've got their keeper back. Fraser Forster is playing well. You know, so I hope you know, they concede 2 or 3. Won't be that bad. Arsenal versus Burnley. I expect Arsenal to win this game 2-0. You know, I don't expect Arsenal to score too many goals. I think Gabriel Martinelli, you know, Bukayo Saka or Lacazette to be amongst the goals. 2-0 to Arsenal. Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. I expect Liverpool to win this. It won't be easy against Palace because at home Palace are really good. And they haven't played a big team at home per se, except Spurs. So don't know how they're going to perform against a big team at home. So this is a big test for Patrick Vieira. I hope it turns out all right. But I expect Liverpool to win this, and also for Liverpool to concede. So 3-1 for Liverpool, in my opinion. 2-1 or 3-1, hard to say. Leicester Brighton, I expect Brighton to score. 1-1 draw in this game. I expect this game to be a draw, 1-1. Chelsea versus Spurs, I think this is going to be a very difficult game to predict because Antonio Conte going back, Tottenham winning the game against Leicester, they're right at the death, scoring 2 goals by this guy, I just can't recall his name. Yeah, but anyways, it was a great win for Tottenham. Not so good if you're an Arsenal fan, but still it was a great win for Spurs, and they're going to be enthused. They're going to be full of energy, full of spirit. So, and Chelsea are kind of disheartened. They've been losing points. They've been dropping points away to some sides where they should have won the game. So I think Spurs can take something away from this game. Maybe 2-2. It could be a draw. I don't think they should win. Neil says Partey missing will hurt. Totally agree with that. Totally agree. Partey is crazy for taking that red card. FPL Sam says now we wait for 15 days to find out Foster starts the next game or not. Wow, that's insane. Absolutely insane. Why do these double game weeks even happen? Come on. Anyways, it's not the end of the world, guys. Pookie starts, Ida starts. Well, I'm not looking at. Foster not even on the bench, so there's no chance of him coming off the bench. Oh man, sometimes these game weeks. Anyways, but it doesn't make much of a difference, guys. I don't expect Watford to keep a clean sheet. If they do, we can all just count ourselves unlucky. But you should. If you went with Foster, I think you should have a backup goalkeeper on the bench. Todd says Nihal, we're on the same page. Yeah, that's good. Neil says great minds think alike. Absolutely nice. That's good, guys. I want everybody to be on the same page, especially if you're doing well in FPL. Then being on the same page actually helps. But if we're all doing bad, then we should be on different pages, I'd say. So guys, this is the team. Backman, King, Cleverly, Joe Pedro. Pedro starts. That is interesting. Sissoko, obviously the captain. Femenia, right back. Left back is KMB. So they've stopped playing Messina and they've started playing this guy KMB, I think. So that's interesting. What else? Cabaselli starts. Who drops out? Rusticong is obviously injured. Serralta Serralta is not playing. Where is Serralta? Serralta is on the bench. So Serralta, the Watford defender, is on the bench, and in place of him, Cabaselli starts. Did he start the last game as well? I'm not sure, but I think Serralta did start the last game, so he's been dropped as well. I'm not sure that's going to be a big issue for anybody, but so yeah, Kamara, Samir, yeah, they've just rotated their team a little bit, I think. Not exactly the same team which started the last game, Watford. They want to win this game, by the way, guys, so they're going to go for it. Trusticong is at AFCON. Yeah, I totally agree. I just totally skipped my mind. Foster is not in the squad. Did Foster pick up COVID? That could be possible. And if Foster picked up COVID, guys, then definitely going to be back for after 15 days for the second game of the double game week. And that's going to be a big dampener because this is the game we wanted to play him in and not in the Burnley game anyway. Because, Maxwell Cornet is going to be back for the Burnley game, so... Todd says Burnley 0 to Watford. Whoa. Well, if they keep a clean sheet, then, at least we got our decisions right. Nobody could have predicted that Backman was going to start over Foster. So if they keep a clean sheet, Watford, then at least we know that we're thinking in the right directions. That's something, right? That's a win, guys. We're looking to win the battles. The war is only going to be won in game week 38. Until then, we just need to win these small battles, guys. And need to stick around, hopefully. Well, I'd say Yeah, so I missed one prediction at the end. Burnley versus Watford. So Todd thinks that Watford's gonna beat Burnley. Um, 0-2. That's interesting, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what to make of this game. I haven't seen Burnley play in a long, long time, because presumably they've had so many issues that they were not able to play a game. But this is gonna be difficult to predict. I think this is gonna be a draw. If Watford win the game against Norwich, they might have enough confidence to go and win this game. But at this moment in time, I'll have to say it's going to be a draw. I think it's going to be it's going to be 2-2, or I think a 1-1 draw or scoring. I think it's going to be a scoring draw. Let's leave it at that. It's going to be a scoring draw in my opinion. Todd thinks Watford going to beat Burnley. Gonna have to wait 15 days to see the result. Insane. Gideon says Daniel Bachman is back. Well, he is Bachman, right? So he has to come back. Again, for anybody who has said you should bring in Foster, especially for that guy who brought him in for Steele, I had no idea this was gonna happen. The rumors were for Dennis having COVID, not Foster having COVID. What is it? Foster is a very good personality. We can start from the back to play football. It's good to have two goalkeepers, but Ben is a little more of an advantage. That is what Ranieri said in his press conference. Damn. So I think if Ranieri speaks so positive about Ben Foster, I think if he's fit in game week, in the second match, I think he's gonna bring him back. So I guess we don't have a double game week goalkeeper anyway, guys. All we can hope is the goalkeepers on our benches, they do well, so that if Foster doesn't start the second game, they just come in. Gideon says feeling nervous. Todd says sleepy Wiz, you're getting very sleepy. That's true, Todd. I'm gonna watch the game. I'm not gonna go to sleep right now, but I'm absolutely tired. I had such a long day. And to finish it with such an enjoyable stream, and you don't wanna get off, but sometimes you just need some rest. So I guess I'm gonna call it a day now, guys, and there's not gonna be a stream for how long? When is the next game week? So 8th Feb is the next game week. So I'll see if I can do a stream before this or after the Watford Burnley fixture, which is on 5th Feb. I'll see what I can do, guys. But it's like 23rd January for the other fixtures, and the Burnley fixture is on 5th Feb. So it's essentially after the winter break of the Premier League. So I just hope you take care of yourselves and everybody around you, guys. And I hope you all have a great game week. May the arrows be green. FPL Wizards signing out for the winter break, and I'm going to be back after that. Just take care of yourselves, guys, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye. Take care.